Hello Badass Crew and welcome to Busted Knuckles, the motorcycle show. I'm Steve Belaire and I'm your host. Today on Busted Knuckles, we're going to go meet Darcy at Prairie Iron Motorworks. He's going to give us a little tour of the shop and tell us about himself. Then after that I'm going to reveal my project bike. It's a shovelhead and it's going to be awesome. And after that, we're going to go back to Darcy's and he's going to change the rake on a bike and add a big wheel. We're going to watch the process. It's very awesome. After that, we're going to go out and meet Dale Lawrence of Uncle D's Airbrushing. And he's going to change a ordinary Fender into a work of art right in front of our eyes. You don't want to miss that. It's amazing. So grab a beer and some hoots, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hi and welcome back. So now we're going to go over and meet Darcy at Prairie Iron Motorworks. Enjoy. Today we're doing a shop tour of Prairie Iron Works. We're going to go in and meet Darcy and see what he does. This is his showroom. When I talked to him earlier, he said he'd like to turn it into more shop. Typical shop guy. And there he is. Hey Darcy.
How's it going?
Good, you?
Not too bad.
Good. Can you tell us about your shop?
What would you like to know?
Okay. What do you do the most of?
What we do the most of, I'm gonna say mostly tires, oil changes, especially summertime. Spring, summer, fall, we like to kind of do stuff that rolls in and out. We do like handlebars and custom work, that sort of thing. But generally speaking, it's riders who want to get in and out. Tires, oil changes, full services, that kind of thing.
Okay, so the longer projects are saved for winter usually?
Ideally, we try to. Sometimes it doesn't always work out as planned, but generally speaking, that's the best time to get into a big project like a full restoration or full customizing, big engine work, that sort of thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you end up doing any big engine work during the summer?
We do a lot of the big bore stuff, as long as the motor doesn't have to come apart to be the cases clearance or that kind of stuff. We prefer our customers don't be down for too long in summertime.
Yeah.
So what happens when you do a big motor like that, everything's got to come apart. You got to split the cases and everything. So a lot of guys don't want to be down, and we don't want them down either. So we try to push that back till the winter.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And do you do any custom work yourself?
We do, yeah. We don't do much fabrication because we're not really set up for it. We don't do like head work, stuff like that, because we're not set up for that either. When it comes to stuff like that, we farm it out to the people that we trust, that we know do that stuff specifically. Like cylinder heads, things like that, porting, polishing, we have guys that do that, and that's all they do. So they're total experts at it. Our custom paint guys, that's all they do. So we trust them. Here you go, you do it. But we work in conjunction with them. But when it comes to like our customizing in-house, a lot of it is like say doing on this bike, we're gonna do ape hangers on it. Oh, so we gotta do extend the cables and stuff like that. So we change all that stuff. But the wiring, we're gonna have to extend the wiring and stuff like that. So it's not really quote unquote customizing, but I guess it is in that sense.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, we know that you're gonna come back and do some series for us. Specifically, you're gonna do a build for us. Is that true?
At some point, yeah. If everything works out, the boss's stuff gets done last. So we'll see.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
Anyway, next we're going to take a look at my own personal project. I'm going to completely rip down and rebuild a machine. And I've never done it before, so it's probably going to be an interesting trip. So enjoy this. Hi, and welcome back to Busted Knuckles. So this is my project. This is my 78 shovelhead. I bought it like this. I've never heard it run. I bought it off of a widow, so the fellow who was building it never got to finish it. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna build what I want is to build a lowrider out of it. So I'm gonna do it all myself. I'm gonna, well, do as much as I can. I'm gonna pull the motor out, check to see if it needs rebuilding or not. I know it's not solid. I heard it move. I put a battery in it and it moves, so. But it's not wired properly, so I couldn't keep the power to it. So, I'm going to take it step by step. I'm going to strip it right down and rebuild it right back up. And hopefully you'll come along for the ride. Okay, so now we're going back to Prairie Motorworks, and Darcy is going to get started on changing the bike to accept a big wheel in the front. Enjoy this. It's an interesting segment.
So I decided to do something different, right?
I hear ya. But if you do something, you want to be worthy of a show, right?
Well, I don't know if I'm really... At one point I was concerned about that with that bike. I wanted it to be a full show bike.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got to the point where I just want to ride the hell out of it. Speed it up and... What I should have done though years ago when I had the opportunity was buy something like a V-Star or something for cheap.
Yeah.
And then... yeah, but I never learned my lesson stuff, so that's okay. But... And you got to do it because there's nothing going on for the whole winter sort of deal, right?
Yeah, so you got to get it while it's getting good, yeah.
Just,
so your summer is screwed.
I hate to book myself accordingly.
Yeah.
But
well, I get it. Long hours in summer when the money's here, right?
Exactly. At first, maybe my scratcher tickets will come in. And I'm not holding my breath for that either. So here's the funnest part, trying not to scratch a custom paint job.
Wow.
At least this fender is narrow enough.
Yeah.
The big ones are a real pain in the ass.
You gotta pull the tank off?
I'm gonna have to move it. Oh
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, I don't know. I prefer tuners that go into the ECM as opposed to piggyback.
Right?
Then just that way you just got one less
So you replace the module, is what you're saying?
No, actually oh, that's good. No, like Power Vision. Well, Thundermax does replace the module. The only thing that they didn't need to extend, really.
Look how long it is.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Okay, this is not necessary. This looks like this should be plugged up under the tank somewhere. The plug for that is right there. There's this, I don't know what's going on.
That's ridiculous.
Should have remembered that. See how dirty this is in here?
Yeah.
This has obviously been leaking from there at some point.
Oh, okay. So you expect to find a mess when you pull it apart?
Yeah, it's kind of common with this O-ring.
But you're replacing the forks anyway, right?
No, we're doing the triple trees.
Oh, okay. You don't have to make the forks longer?
No, it's raked. So the way they have their rake done, you don't have to.
Ah, that's cool. So you don't have to cut or weld or anything?
Nope.
It's just replace this thing here.
Yep.
And it's just a different rake on it. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get into some of that bigger wheels, like the 26s and shit like that.
Yeah, I seen them do it. I seen them do a 27-inch, and they had to cut everything.
There are kits that you cut or you it bolts to the neck, but then the neck is further out and lower, and
Well, that was interesting, but if you're going to see the rest of it, you're going to have to come back to the next show. Okay, so now we're going out to Uncle D's and meet Dale Lawrence, and we're going to watch him do some airbrushing and work his magic. It's just amazing. Enjoy this. I know you're going to enjoy this.
So many good artists. Keith
Well, it gives,
Parkinson,
you know, I
Larry
mean,
Elmore.
it gives you inspiration, right?
Yeah. Well, and then I had the ultimate privilege of going to San Diego Comic-Con a couple of times and Chicago Comic-Con a few different ones, and meeting all my heroes.
Did you meet Frazetta?
Yeah, Frazetta, Greg and Tim Hildebrand, Boris, Brom, Keith Parkinson, Larry Elmore.
Oh my goodness.
And got their autographs in my art books too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
I guess I don't see anything hanging here, but they're in your art book. That's a good idea.
Not a lot of room on the walls.
That's a pretty nice CD collection, man. I assume there's a Pink Floyd selection.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. It's mostly classic rock, but heavy metal, classic rock, really.
I suspected as much.
Yeah.
I remember when my oldest was getting into heavy metal, and he's listening to, you know, whatever was out in the 90s or 00s when he was a kid. One day I gave him my Black Sabbath.
Oh, yeah.
He was an instant Aussie fan after that. This is really a sweet shop, man. This is really
Oh,
nice.
thanks. Yeah, it's been a long process, though. And I had a friend of mine, Joe Kraziak, I painted his bike for him, and then he came in and he custom built this whole entire
Oh, is that right?
bench and area for me.
Nice. So what you gonna do today? What you gonna do?
We're gonna the tried and true. Got this piece that we got. We're gonna match up the front fender to this piece. So I got this one laid out.
So this is the one you're painting, or that's
This one is kind of done. This
that
is
one's done. Okay.
This one's kind of done what I wanted to do with it. There might be the odd touch up left to do, but it's basically where I want
Looks
it.
like bones.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And so then we're going to do the same thing with this one here.
So you gotta take all this white off?
No.
Well, that's the part of it.
Yeah, that's a part of it. That's the
Oh, okay. So you're doing what, the blacks and grays over it?
base. Yeah, you do the blacks and grays
Oh,
over it.
freaking cool.
Yeah. So I'll take most of the stuff that I do is freehand, but this here, like, it depends on what you want, right? So
Yeah.
I take the paper pre-mask, which is this kind of this sticky paper, and so you take your paper pre-mask, a really nice sticky, and it's half transparent. This one here is pre-mask too. It is completely transparent.
Oh.
This one, but it doesn't conform to shapes as well as this one does. So I'll just take a piece, cut it off, and then lay it across the piece.
Oh, and that's how you got the white on there?
Yeah, and then I'll draw the design out,
Yeah.
and then cut it out with an X-Acto knife,
Yeah.
and then I paint in my white,
Oh, cool. Okay.
and then I peel the paper off. But I never I'm only do that the areas that I want the basic colors. After I've got a basic white platform, I don't keep the masking on because lots of times I want it to either flow out into the background or
Right.
sometimes
You want to be in control at this point.
yeah, so then I just take it off and now I'll airbrush in all the detail in here. And then on the front piece here, we're putting a skull with candles.
Oh, cool.
So that part we can do because and what I'll basically do is I'll airbrush up the detail in these ones, and then I'll mask them off, and then I'll put the red in.
Oh, right on.
And I'll put the red in, and then after I'm done putting the red in, I'll paint a skull in here because I want it to blend out in with the red.
Oh, okay.
So that's what we're kind of doing. And then here, like I do with a lot of things, if I don't use the paper pre-mask, all I do is take tracing paper. I got big rolls of tracing paper, and all I do is take tracing paper, stick it over the surface that I want, and draw the design I want on the tracing paper until I get it the way that I want.
And you draw right on the surface so you get this the right angles and everything?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I draw right on the surface with the tracing paper. Lots of times I'll have a whole piece all just covered in tracing paper, all cut up and taped in different areas, and I'll draw all over the tracing paper until I get the design that I want.
Okay.
And then I just use a simple, you can get transfer paper, but I just use a simple old school method of just taking some shade the back, yeah, and then it just transfers right onto the black, especially onto black. It shows up really good.
Oh, okay.
And then I just go over the lines. But yeah, that's
very cool.
And that is basically how I do almost every piece. So then I'll have a pencil outline, and for me, I'm a much better painter than I am a drawer. So kind of like a tattooist, I don't want too many lines. I just keep the simple, basic outlines because I'm going to fill it all in and put it when I paint. So I don't want a lot of lines.
You don't want you don't have to follow lines. You want the freedom to
do
make
whatever
it as
I want
you're
to
going.
do. Yeah. So I'll paint it
that.
and then. So the idea with airbrushing is you always want to figure out where your light source is coming from. So you always have to add shadow and light in order to make it look more realistic.
Make it believable.
So I always visualize the light is coming down on this side, so I darken this edge and put my cracks in, and then when I go to lighten, I keep this side lighter.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then the cracks are just, you try to keep them as random as possible because, I mean, you know, when you're looking at cracks and stuff like that, you never see two the same.
Right. Oh, that is crazy.
Yeah, it requires good eyesight. Thankfully, it doesn't require. Everybody says, oh, you must have steady hands, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever painted a straight line in my life. Thankfully, it does not require steady hands. I usually shake like Ozzy Osbourne on Sunday morning.
And not painting too many straight lines, right?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so I was saying about the art and wanted to be a comic book guy or whatever, you know, or book illustrator and stuff. And so then I do all these paintings there, and from the encouragement of my wife. And so we put together this portfolio, and I was like, she was like, well, where do we go to, you know, get hired? And I said, well, San Diego Comic Con is the biggest Comic Con, you know, all the illustrators, all the guys are all there, we should go there. So I said, okay. So we got a portfolio together, and we got our plane tickets, and I figured it was just a matter of going down there, showing my stuff, hired, away we go, you know.
You must have been young.
I put this portfolio together, so we go down there, and we get off the plane. Of course, it's first time in California, it's fantastic, but we go to this convention, and I walked through the doors, and the first time that I actually saw like a real painting by one of the artists that I admired, and man, it was like 10 times better than it was in the book, and I was like, holy smokes,
Son of a bitch.
yeah. Instantly I realized I sucked.
Put your drawings away and went home.
No, I realized that all my women were dwarfs with bug eyes on them.
So you stopped painting women.
Well, I said, no, I came all this way, you know what, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna take it anyway. So I went to all these job interviews that I had signed up for, and basically, yeah, every single art director was like, yeah, don't quit your day job. Yeah, you suck. But anyway, I was beaten to the curb there, but I was walking to the show and then I saw one of my all-time favorite artists, Keith Parkinson, so I was stoked, so I ran up there and he was by himself there, so then I was like, doing the, oh man, you're amazing, you're
my hero.
And he was like, oh yeah, what do you do? And I was like, well, I'm trying to be an artist and stuff. He said, oh, well, show me your stuff, eh? And I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to get kicked to the curb by my hero. But anyway, I pulled out my stuff and I told him, all the art directors told me he sucked and all this stuff. And he was so nice. He was like, no, you got a lot of potential here, and he sat down with each painting. He showed me how to change it and what to do and all that
No
stuff.
way!
Yeah.
Wow!
And he totally inspired me. Before I left, he autographed a piece of art for me and gave it to me.
Wow!
So he was totally fantastic.
Nice guy changed your life.
Nice guy changed my. I came home, and instantly my paintings went from 0 to 60 overnight, thanks to
nice.
Keith Parkinson. And then I met him one more time, and then after that he passed away. Well, you know what? And there's days where I worked on something all day, and at the end of the day I looked at it and went, nope, that's crap. Erased it.
Oh, yeah. I guess you have to be able to do that to be able to put out the good stuff, right? You got to be fussy.
Yeah, and that was one of the hard things that I learned is that if I don't like it, how's my customer going to like it?
Or how you're going to look at him in the eye.
Yeah. So I've always learned that I am not happy with it. If something bothers me, and before there's been little things that have bothered me, and I've let them go, but it's still, so I'm like, nope, if something bothers me, I gotta do it. If I don't like
still
something,
bothers you.
Yeah, I'm like, nope, I don't care whether they're going to notice that or not. It bothers me. I gotta get it done. So then I'll redo things, just simply for my own satisfaction.
That's how you get a reputation, right?
And there, we got all that
That is so freaking cool. I can't believe how much you did in one shot.
Yeah, get that done. There. And then we'll mask it out and put the red on. And then we'll put our skull in. So.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Come back for our next show to see Darcy finish the big wheel conversion and see Uncle D do some more amazing airbrushing. I'll get started on the shovel and a whole lot more.